Today, we're going to go and have a look at the Statue of Liberty, something that you may not know about the Statue of Liberty. We're going to look at Christ the Redeemer. What is hidden on Christ the Redeemer? Nefertiti's bust, the Washington Monument, but there's more than one Washington Monument, and the second one that I'm going to talk about is even more interesting than the first one. I'll talk about both. The Lincoln Memorial, we've already learned some things about it, but there's something else that you may not know. Michelangelo's David. Oi. Old Rodin, the kiss. What was special about that kiss? Now, Christina, I know, knows that statue well. Maybe she doesn't know this particular thing about the statue. Martin Luther King Monument, the Michelangelo's Moses, and his other beautiful one of mother and child, and finally the fallen astronaut, which is just as interesting, but for me probably the top of the pops is the last one, Kryptos, and that to me is the most fascinating of them all. So we've got a fair number of things that come from other countries, but just as many things that come from America. So let's begin and find out just exactly what we are learning about. But before we do, let me greet everybody who's joined us. Hi, Jean and Sandy and Maggie. Nice to have you. And Angela and Wanda and Melinda D. Nice to have you in class too. So let's have a look and see what we are going to do. Now, let's continue. Now, Statue of Liberty. We all know many things about the Statue of Liberty, but the top light is on. Hold on 1 second. With the top light on, there's a shine on my screen. So let me just get rid of that. So classic paintings are known to have secrets. Iconic monuments are known to have secrets. So let's have a look and see today's Statue of Liberty. This arrived here in 1886. It was a gift from France, not only to celebrate the celebration of immigrants, but mostly to commemorate the end of slavery. Possibly something we didn't know about it is the statue was originally intended to celebrate only the end of slavery in America, and that is represented by the chains at her feet. Did you know that she had chains at her feet? Now, he also originally had a chain in her hand, and one hand holding the torch, one hand holding a chain in the hand. And the powers that be said, no chains in her hand. So eventually rather than lose the commission, he changed the chains in her hand to a book. Because he couldn't do it without their financial support, he had to change them. But he left the broken shackles and chains that were at her feet. So her feet not only hold the shackles, but also there's something rather strange in the heel of the Statue of Liberty. Did you know that? But let's go and have a look at the video, which will explain that to you. Hi, Liz. Hi, Linda as well. Nice to have you all joining us. Right, now let's have a look at this. I've started the video in the middle because the beginning part was not what we were talking about. So we're starting from this point.
What I like to talk about is her right foot. And they built her in Paris, and then when they assembled her here in 1886, workers went in and out of that sole. So it was one of the last places to be closed up. That's an American woman, shoe size 879. So she's got big feet. Goes along with her 35-foot waist that she has there.
She's a big lady.
Under that left foot are the shackles and chains of slavery and oppression that are being crushed. And that's when it shows part of her symbolism, which is that she's taken you out of the darkness of slavery and oppression. And with that torch held high, leading him into the light of liberty and freedom.
So that is why you have those chains at the base. How many of you knew there were chains at the bottom? Hands up if you knew that there were chains at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty. Anybody? So high up you don't see it, but it's there. So that is hidden in plain sight. Nice to see that I have found something that you don't know. I thought you would all know all of these different things. So moving on from these chains, we are moving on to Christ the Redeemer. Now, Christ the Redeemer is also a fascinating statue. When you look at Christ the Redeemer from a distance, it looks like this great big statue made out of concrete, but not quite. It was completed in 1931, and while it's made of concrete, it's actually covered in millions of small soapstones. And Christ the Redeemer was built using reinforced concrete and had an outer shell of 6 million soapstone tiles. It's believed that the workers who made these tiles occasionally wrote notes on the back and put their names there. And so there are many interesting things in these little tiles. Now, I've just got a picture of the eye of Christ the Redeemer. And there are those tiles. Who would have thought that there were so many little tiles in this particular piece of statue? And some of the workers that were volunteers, they were gluing the pieces onto the linen cloth squares, and many of them wrote their names, well wishes, and other messages on the soapstone tiles. So one of the wonders of the world is actually filled with fun secrets and messages. But nobody really knows what is on them. And on his shoulder, on the shoulder of Christ the Redeemer, there on the shoulder, there is also a trapdoor that opens. And the statue has access to the tunnel for the maintenance workers. There's stairs that go right up the center of the statue and then pop out on his shoulder here where there is a trapdoor. So who knew that there were all these secret things on the statue of Christ the Redeemer? So Christ the Redeemer is quite an amazing thing. So there you can see that what we can see. So let's see, go back where I want to get out of where I am now. Right. So now let's have a look at the next one that we